Welcome back. I am so happy that you have returned. And I am Mickey. I am not your mama's minister. And today we're going to talk about something a little more spooky, a little more scary, a little more sassy than we usually talk about. Today I'm going to kind of give my take on demons. And so the question was posed to me recently having to do with demons and working with demonic energies. And so if you look throughout history, especially a lot of the monotheistic religions have taken demons and turned them into something that is straight out evil. You don't want to fuck with them. You don't want to mess with them. You definitely don't want to petition them or summon them or anything like that. And fuck selling your soul to them. Or on the opposite end, you get those that are playing around and are like, oh, let's sell my soul so that I can gain power. Okay, first of all, let me just say this is my take on it. So, regardless of whether you believe it, this is what I have gained throughout the years in my communication with the spirits and the spirit world and so forth and so on, the divine world. And that is that demons are a race of entities just like the angelic race of entities. And as a matter of fact, they are more human than the angelic race. And so they, I guess, have a better way of communicating with us. And so once upon a time, they weren't considered these evil things. They were just another realm of spirits that you could petition that you could work with. I mean, if you look at I think it was Solomon, got all these demons to do his bidding and stuff like that. First of all, anytime you're doing any petitioning, you don't want to be a douchebag. But that's just like when we're dealing with each other. Instead of saying, do this, it's much nicer to say, oh my God, it's hot in here. Whew. Not that I'm complaining. Usually it's too cold. But it's you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar, is what I'm saying. And that's the same way with working with demonic energies. So let's say you decide that, oh, I've been reading up and the Ars Goetia or something like that, and so I'm wanting to work with this specific demon. It seems to have the qualities and have the patronages that I'm wanting to gain in this specific moment or in this specific situation, and I kind of like that. So I want to work with this one. Now, tons of books out there will tell you all these great, fantastic rituals and sacrifices to make and so forth. Remember, these are just entities just like any other entity, and so you work with what you've got. You definitely don't, none of the spirit world wants you to assault somebody in order to petition them or sacrifice to them or anything like that. So let's not forget that. Just don't do it. There was a case maybe a couple of years ago where, and I love this, the new head of the Church of Satan had actually turned in somebody because they sent him a letter saying that they were going to sacrifice somebody or something like that in order to summon Satan. And so the Church of Satan turned him into the police, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Definitely goes against what people consider any type of Satan worshipers or satanic Church of Satan members, anything like that. So anyway, going back to demons. So when you're dealing with demonic energies, one of the biggest things is that somebody is going to say, well, what about possession? First of all, there are many, many religions out there and spiritual paths out there that work with possessions. And so they actually allow spirits to ride them or possess them for a short period in order to do rituals, in order to do lots of different things. And then on top of that, in my experience, what I have found to be the accurate thing is that, and I know that, the Warrens would disagree with me and so forth and so on, but I have not found that demons possess. This has been my experience is that demons think that humans are idiots, like complete sadistic idiots, and they don't understand why you wouldn't go about finding a less sadistic or cruel way to empower yourself. And so they have no interest in being in the same flesh as a human being, because the human spirit is so uh, or not really the human spirit, I'd say the human mind. And so while they're in that human mind, then it's kind of like, ooh, this is ugly, I want out of here. And I was really impressed with the television show Angel, the spinoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They had an episode of that where this boy was um, kind of a cuckoo nut, and was committing evil things, and they assumed that it was the demon that was possessing him, and he was possessed, but it was not the demon that was possessing him. In fact, the demon was like screaming to get out, and couldn't get out of the kid. And so I really was impressed with that, because of course that is basically what I have found to be um, pretty accurate, is that the demons just they'll work with us, but for the most part they know how fucked up our brains work. And so when you run into a situation of possession, then I have found that more often than not it is a spirit. So an actual human spirit that either you have summoned through fucking with things that you don't know anything about, or that it is somebody that's connected to you, possibly somebody that you wronged during life, and so forth. But it definitely is human spirits that do most of the possessing of humans. And so take that into consideration when you are wanting to say, oh, she or he must be possessed, and so forth. That's been my experience. That has been what I have found to be true. And then, so working with them, there's definitely, because they have gotten such a bad rap throughout the years, because you need to remember that they are affected by our beliefs, our thoughts, and so they are affected by how the entire world sees them. And so whereas at one point they were revered as the spirits that helped in certain situations, which is why if you look at the descriptions of these demons, many of them have very positive things connected to them. And so and so that's one of the things that unfortunately monotheism kind of stole that from them, just like it did with a number of other entities. And so when you're working with them, you need to remember that this is definitely after years and years and years of them having kind of this bad reputation. And so when you're told, I mean, they've done studies on humans. When you're continuously berated and told negative things, what does it do to you? Same kind of thing works with the spirits. And so you need to keep that in the back of your mind when you're doing any work. And so yes, I'm not going to sit here and say that you shouldn't work with them. You should definitely know what you're doing. You certainly don't have to go through all of those mumbo jumbo rituals. You can if you like to. I mean, certainly there are some people out there that love the ritual. I love ritual. I just don't want to do it when I'm in a hurry to get something done. And then the other thing is, remember that you have to show a certain modicum of respect. So basically treating them the same way that you would treat your saints or your angelic realm or the deities. You want to treat them as if you are asking a favor, because that's exactly what you're doing. You are asking for a favor. And you can work with them regardless of whether you're doing something like a blessing or certainly curses or anything like that. Same rule goes with all of the mystical work, and that is righteousness. So if it isn't righteous, they're probably not going to respond. And then the other thing is, don't waste their time. If it's one of those things where you are half-assing it, or kind of, well, I'll try it out just to see how it turns out. Why don't you try it out with one of the more common entities, and then work your way up to them, because they are kind of, I wouldn't say shy, but wary, definitely wary. And so you want to recognize that, okay, this is somebody who's been shit on for years and years and years, and so now I'm coming to him or her and saying, hey, I need your help with this. There are some people who work very well with demonic energies, and that is completely fine. Like I said, try it out. You just don't want to half-ass it. You don't want to go into it saying, oh, well, let's go stand in front of the mirror in the dark bathroom and say Bloody Mary 3 times. You get where I'm going with this, right? And don't fuck with things that you're just fucking around and making a joke out of it. Let's see. I think name pronunciations, it's that's not that big of a deal to any of the spirit or divine realm, and that includes the demonic realm. There are some words, some names that we're not that familiar with the sounds, and so forth and so on. You have to remember, again, that they get it. I don't speak Spanish, but I certainly petition the Aztec deities, and so they totally understand that. They're kind of like polyglots, and so they get it. And so don't be as stressed about the pronunciation of the name as you are about doing it properly, and showing that graciousness. Yeah, I'd say graciousness and respect. Yeah, of course. And you can, whether you are deciding to work with them on a regular basis. For example, I know somebody who works with one specific demon, and he is in like accounting or something like that. Sorry, I don't, if you're watching this, I don't remember what you do, but he's in accounting or something having to do with numbers. And so he works with a demon that shows hidden numbers and hidden anything having to do with numbers and anything having to do with money and things like that. And so he works with him very regularly, and he's become very successful with that. And so when you see these demonic things shown on the movies and on TV, just remember, just like whenever anybody is portrayed, you need to remember that it's fictional, and that is somebody's take on it, just like this is my take on it, and it is definitely something that you can do more research into it if it's something that you're interested in, and you're like, well, I don't know. There are a lot of different books out there, a lot of different websites out there, and there's a lot of different takes on it. Just like with any of the spirit and divine world, there is no way for us to prove anything. And so this is not science, this is faith and spirituality. So whatever feels right for you. If you feel like, absolutely not, I never ever want to work with demonic energies, I'm too scared of it, then don't. Oh my God, for God's sake, don't ever do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. Ever, 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 in anything having to do with your life. If it doesn't feel right to your heart, if it doesn't feel right to your mind, your soul, don't fucking do it. And then, and that, of course, plays a part with the working with demons. But having to do with working with them, if you are interested, like I said, there's plenty of websites out there. There's go to the library, go to some of the old bookstores, and you can get some old books on them. Um, Definitely check out the interesting things that are said about them in various other religious texts, and you will find that, oh wow, yeah, they kind of ride the edge of being benevolent and evil. And so, wait a second, I need to take a deeper look into that. Educate yourself on it. And if you are interested, try it out. You know, if it doesn't feel right the first time, if you want to try it again, then try it again. But, you know, it's definitely another aspect of the spirit world that can be beneficial to you and helpful to you and protective of you. I know that there are some demons out there that are incredibly, incredibly protective. They're like fucking guard dogs. Remember that movie? What the hell was it? Oh, The Boys from Brazil and the Dobermans. Oh my God, I love that. And there are some demons out there that are just like those Dobermans. They're incredibly protective, incredibly, I don't want to say obedient per se, but definitely that that this is my person and you are fucking with my person, and so I'm going to make sure that you don't fuck with my person anymore. And so and there are saints that do that too, and there are spirits that do that as well, and deities that do that as well. But if you're wanting to move outside of those, I'm just, you know, I am letting you know that that is another option for you, and it's not something that you have to be scared of any more than you are scared of petitioning any other entity, any other spirit, any other deity. You don't need to be afraid of it. You just need to be educated about it. And I think that might be all that I wanted to say about it. If you have any questions about the subject, feel free to drop me a line. Please comment. Oh my God, nobody's commenting. I just want to cry. Not really, but since my makeup's already done. But like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will talk to you soon.